Good evening, everyone. Okay. So although it's weekend, I got called out to work today, and then it was raining, and I was being itching to show the next 15 or so saws, but I've run out of time tonight, so I'm going to show maybe 4 or 5 this evening, and working from home tomorrow, so I'm going to pull out a load more tomorrow as well, and then if I can't find new homes, I'll take them to my Gloucester workshop. But hopefully, there's going to be some amazing project saws for some of you guys out there. Um, so where shall we start with these saws today? Actually, a couple of these didn't come from that batch either, but they're out just because of an interesting overlap. So let's start off then. Actually, let's move this one. We'll start with this saw first. So any of you eagle-eyed people are going to recognise really unusual colour. This is a gold Oldsmobile colour. So this is the Pioneer NU17, and really interesting saw, this version. Pull start is located through a gear drive up on top, and top handle. Really unusual setup for the oil pump and the choke assembly up on top, front filler caps, tiny footprint. So these started life with the Model 400 in the Pioneer type of lime yellowy green, which is the same colour as the 650 behind, which we'll come on to. Yeah, we'll come on to that girl. And yeah, started life in 58. Often get recorded wrong as well. They get recorded as being 40mm stroke. What do they run piston wise? They are the same as the 650. They run a 57mm piston, and they're a 35mm stroke, so a nominal just under 90 cc's, 89 cc's, and running 404. So the original ones were running a brown carburettor, and not very good, fueling really difficult. And then they made a few modifications. They did a model, I think was that the 410 in cream. They also did a side-by-side version, the 450, and in between they had this girl in the Oldsmobile brown, I think from 1962 to 64. So this girl is a true 60 years old then. And okay, so she has this beautiful original, looks like is that the 17 or 18 inch? I think that's an 18 original solid nose bar. Has the correct filler caps, the correct pull handle, has the 3 little buttons on top. They're often missing as well, is why I point that out. This screw looks set in position. Haven't taken the covers off her, and the gentleman says she doesn't spark, and they're prone for that. They're renowned. The coils are nowhere near as robust as on the 650. She has really good compression for this age of engine. He said the piston's clean, and there she is. So that's a 1960s unbelievable project saw. It might be that it's so I was going to mention, really interesting as well. So painted in the Oldsmobile gold, but you can see all the factory overspray on the inside of the original lime yellow. So presumably they were still overspraying the original 400 series engine casings and then putting the upgrades on, which they'd added to this version of the saw. Still has the little foot wire to stand on when you start her. Just an absolute thing of beauty. There's 2 aluminium engine shrouds, which they're definitely in there. One wraps around the engine fins and rotates the air across the engine, and the other one, there's a separate manifold. I think that's right, separate manifold that goes around the exhaust to shield the exhaust, and they're always missing. You end up burning through the bottom and get loads of heat damage, but both the plates are on. Just a tiny little crack in this side cover here, and pulls cleanly. He says the piston's clean. The The flywheel cover looks really excellent. It's got the little spark plug access cap correct. Serial number badge is present. Has a lug missing off of. Real prone this back cover for having lugs missing because they were so small and fine cast in die cast magnesium. There she is. Felling spikes present. So that's the gorgeous untouched. Goodness knows how long this has been sat there for. This is a beautiful example of the NU17. So hopefully an amazing collector saw for one of you, or maybe an amazing restoration project. Yeah, staggering, gorgeous. Now then, two more XLs, one from another gentleman, but really interesting. I brought them out because of an interesting crossover, which is, so this girl is an XL automatic and 58 cc's, just like the Super XL, the XL12, share a load of similarities. And whereas the slightly earlier ones had a metal serial number badge, this girl, a beautiful original all the way around, gorgeous, has one of the self-adhesive serial number stickers. So that just shows you she's slightly later. But then there were some really interesting distinctions which perhaps lots of other people know, which I've only just become aware of comparing it to the saw that came yesterday, which is the filler caps. Really interesting. So these red filler caps are slightly different to some of the blue model engines in that they have a very coarse thread, but I didn't realise that the Canadian wing of Homelite, when they produced the first XL when they produced the XL automatic, their first version had these very unusual colours. So this enamel green with white with red, just beautiful. And plastic top on the slightly later one. So these were from 71 to 79, or just under 80, 1980, 71, 58 cc's, mag alloy, but really interesting. The petrol filler cap is running the fine thread, but these filler caps are these are the filler caps used on the C51s, and that filler cap was introduced in 1962, I think the earliest. So I know then that this model of XL predates this all red version by some margin. So interesting indicator. So if you've got an engine and you need to know if it's one of the earlier ones, if the filler cap has a finer thread, that looks to be one of the pointers. The oil cap is cast mag alloy. On the later one, plastic, composite, just like its filler cap. Apparently there's a slight dimension change on the clutch drum, very interesting. Footprint wise, the rest of it looks absolutely identical apart from this gorgeous colour. So this girl then is going up for sale, spares or repair or collector's saw. This has the original, I think these are both 20-inch. Yeah, they are. So this has got one of the original Homelite 20-inch solid nose. Excellent tooth life on the chain. One screw missing on the exhaust. Other than that, this saw looks fantastic. Prone to having little breaks on this top aluminium casting or mag alloy casting. It's replaceable, but they do tend to break. There's been a metal plate added to that. And again, this saw is just choke off. Just beautiful, rock steady. So we're unsure how long this was last run, possibly over 20 years. And there you go. I put a fresh fuel filter in her, checked the spark plug, didn't even change the spark plug. And that's how she runs, with nothing else just absolutely gorgeous. So that's the slightly earlier version in red and green and white. So if any of you got any more information on this one, on its actual start date, so I think this was 1971, but the colours are really unusual, aren't they? You know, you're used to seeing them in the blue and the white and the red and the white, but this green, white and red is really unusual. But obviously factory sprayed, because the side cover on the Polestar housing is, yeah, factory sprayed. So that's a beauty. So back to this girl then, which came from the original batch. Paintwork fantastic, all the way around. Oregon 20-inch period 3/8 bar. Chain guide plates are immaculate, just beautiful looking engine. Exhaust looks great. Is there any damage at all around the chassis? If there is, it's nothing I've kind of picked up initially. Missing a chain, so the only thing she doesn't have is a chain. Oh, that's right. And the other girl has a is missing the correct screw, thumb screw for the air filter housing. They are actually strange. I think they're still obtainable as well. So she's missing the thumb screw for the air filter housing and missing the air filter. This girl has all of those things. And running wise, again, this girl seems well, just spectacular. And again, so we know this one's in the 70s because she's the XL automatic, but she's got the manual plunger on her, really interestingly. So she's got the coarse thread with the manual plunger. So I'm sure it dates her in the 70s. Okay, that reminds me, really interesting as well. So they both have the correct period pull start handles for the flywheel pull, but the fuel pickup is really interesting. So at this stage, this girl runs onto the fuel pipe, which comes through, goes into the tank at the top through a rubber tank grommet, then comes down to the base of the tank with a filter. The earlier version comes out with a dedicated pipe length, maybe 3 inches long. Then it goes into a brass fuel pipe, which comes in. Haven't seen the arrangement, so presumably it comes into some type of banjo arrangement into the side of the tank, and then we'll probably have either a large felt filter pickup like some of the early McCullochs, or some of the Dan arms had that. So that would be really interesting. So the fuel pickup is also very, very different. They look identical to start with, and then suddenly when you check them, you realise that the piping's different. So there's this girl, and she is just beautiful. So that's a really interesting sort. Now, okay. Did I mention on the NU17s, they often get recorded wrong as well. Some people record those as a 57 mil piston, which they are, but a 40 mil stroke, which is a mistake. That means they would be same as this girl, 103 cc's. So this is the other one I'm going to show this evening. This is the spectacular Pioneer 650. So what does it say about these girls? 57 mil piston, 40 mil stroke. These girls started life with the 600 series in 1958, and then had a few design tweaks and a few changes, and the 650s I think started in the mid 60s, but incredibly robust. Well, this girl's just, there you go. She came off the shelf yesterday, and so the gentleman's told me, so it's, the chain looks on maximum tension on the guide bar. Actually, I should have measured the guide bar. It looks like it's 26, so they can run up to I think these can run up to a 30. A little bit like the C51s actually, the 77cc's. I'm sure they state these run up to 30 or 36. Have to check on that. Original felling spike, beautiful chrome handle with the hand grip. Beautiful, no breaks to the side cover. Correct kill switch, strange. Be upside down for most people. Down is on, up is off. So counterintuitive. This beautiful cast exhaust with the stainless steel plate, correct filler caps, serial number badge present. Doesn't appear to be any breaks on the underside, just missing paint. The little ring for standing on is present. This girl has the glass, sight glass for the fuel, manual oil lever. So I said, when she last run? He said, not for an age. And so she has, it's a problem which you get with some of the big saws, some of the early big saws which run. So this is a Fairbanks and Morse friction assembly. So we'll try it now, but I'm not, it let go earlier and I've just taken the cover off and I rewound it. I haven't disassembled it, so the spring is uncoiling. So either the spring is damaged or the pulley is damaged, one of the two. But when I pulled it over, she banged and fired, and then I thought, right. But when they kick back, it uses the quite large aluminium starter cup, and if the Fairbanks and Morse starter pulls, if they're still in the extended position and the cup kicks back and it catches the pulls, it goes in, it snaps the spring, or it damages the aluminium pulley. So I have that on some of my DDA 125s. They're devils for doing that. So if I get a chance, I might look at that, because that might be, I wonder if the pulley is the same as the DDA 125. It's all Fairbanks and Morse friction assembly. It's just whether or not I have a spring, or I don't know what it is. So just be no time to check it. And actually on that subject as well, a lot of people say that the 650, this 600 series, is based on the Danon DDA 110. Now, where to start with that? If those people mean that if those people mean that I'm trying to think of the things that are actually the same, but the 650 has a different fuel tank, it has different felling spike, different front handle, different top cover, different fuel caps, different oil cap, different oil plunger lever, different flywheel, different electrics, different seals, different barrel, different piston, different head. In fact, the only thing, different footrest, the only things I think it shares to a DDA 125 is the carburetor kit and the clutch drum. And that really could be it. And maybe there's something else. Maybe the fuel filter. The tank pickup. Okay, the tank pickup glass. So, haven't seen it, but that's identical. So, but nearly everything's different. So when people say it's the same, it's a mile away. So 57, 40, 103 cc's. Excellent compression. Great spark. So I don't know if she'll engage long enough or she'll just kick back and then let go. If she lets go, we'll when I video the other ones tomorrow, we'll video this girl again. And I'll check to see whether it's a spring or a pulley. I just didn't have time tonight when I got back. So, okay, on is down. Choke. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking saw. go. So she started first pull, but the spring still engaged, but it's just pulling out. So something wrong with the pull start housing, definitely. But here you go, first pull, and very interesting, isn't it? So shows you the type of inconsistent fuel mixes they used to get on old engines. You'll notice that on some of these old ones, you see me adjusting then, the high needles had T-bar assemblies on, so depending on the mixture you're running in the woods that day, you could lean it off or richen it up. So there she is, the gorgeous Pioneer 650. So she's going up then exactly as she's arrived. If I get a chance to check tomorrow to see if that is the spring which is bending, but the pulleys are really prone as well. When they kick back, the pulleys are prone to catching and then taking chips off of the inside ring where the spring engages. So it's either it's worn the spring or it's worn the pulley, but bear that in mind. But here she is. What a gorgeous saw. That's the 650. Well, what do you think? Should we do a very quick, it's late, don't make the neighbours hate me, let's do a very quick walk around. Really quick. Okay. So this is the gorgeous Pioneer 650. Can't see with my glasses what the bar is. Looks like it's either a 24 or 26. Changed it maximum extension on the adjuster, so needs a new chain, or perhaps he's got too many links in. That would be interesting to check. Beautiful front of the engine, serial number plate. It's gorgeous exhaust, all profiled all the way around, lovely. Chrome on the handle wrap is amazing. There's the pulley assembly. It looks like all these beautiful burnished nuts and bolts all the way around. Obviously all mag alloy, non-AV. There's the little sight glass for the tank, correct fuel caps. And just see the clutch drum underneath, just beautiful. So that's the 650. Oh, they're so hard to find. Is there any brakes on the top cover? It doesn't appear to be at all. Nice with the little tree badge inset cast in at this stage. They later put stickers on. Right, this is the gorgeous Homelite XL in red. Manual plunger, composite top, coarse thread fuel cap with the brass gauze just inset to the side. Correct oil caps. The dogs are present, the felling spike. Just look at the paint, absolutely staggering condition, this saw. Absolutely staggering. Oh, that's the other difference as well. So many interesting differences. The little shroud over the spark plug cap, aluminium instead of painted like on the earlier ones. Still turned aluminium, throttle lock, plunger, everything present. Exhaust, no brakes to the side cover, the guide plates present. Just immaculate, really, absolutely immaculate. So she needs a chain and presumably a nice service, but just a gorgeous collector's item. So that's very interesting. There we go. So this goes interesting then. This is the, actually let's take off the top cover. Sure, I checked this. I should double check it. Yeah, so beautiful, correct. Not clean. This is as it is. Ah, very interesting. That carburettor then is, I wonder if you can make that out. That's, you'll see that it says Homelite SDC. So that's a Walbro variation, but instead of having an aluminium top cover, that's actually I'm pretty sure they're pressed steel plate for strength. I think I even have the kits for those, and that's the fuel pipe which goes through to the fuel tank with a grommet. Okay, so she's impressively clean, so impressively clean. Even the sticker's perfect on the top. So she's a gorgeous girl. What an amazing example that is. Yep, here the oil squirting out. So this is the earlier version then, Homelite XL. Metal serial number plate badge on the pull start housing. All the correct screws all the way around. The variation of the filler caps. The painted cover on the spark plug shroud. Exhaust is missing a screw. It's had a small repair here, although it's absolutely solid. Different fuel caps. Fine thread. Metal, mag alloy, oil filler cap, felling spike. Beautiful solid nose bar, looks in lovely condition. Blanked for the plunger, interestingly. Oiling, yes. Chain guide plates present. All these brass fixtures. They look like hydraulic fixtures. Well, I guess it is. This is for the oil line pump system. Just so beautifully engineered. Everything glistening with a healthy feed of oil. And I wonder if this runs an SDC carburettor. So, incorrect, obviously the incorrect nut on top. That's supposed to be one of those little thumb wheels like the other girl. Let's pull it off. I will check as well. There might be, it may be that I have one of those. I will double check. Oh, let me grab this. So this lid, mag alloy, the instructions inside. Tiny bit of wear on this edge. And then some type of gauze has been put in to filter. Interesting. So that's one of the Tillotson Toledo carburettors then. So one's running Walbro, one's running Tillotson. Very interesting changeover, isn't it, when you see this on the almost identical models. And there's this bigger fuel pipe, and it comes down onto a brass pipe. Yeah, very interesting. And did I do this girl yet? Oh, not yet. Okay. This is the beautiful Pioneer NU17. So cast into the mag alloy, or die cast mag aluminium. You can just make out the shrouds on the inside. So it's missing a little triangular shield which is on the outlet to the exhaust. Little crack here on the clutch cover. Correct filler caps at the front. On top, see this screw, I wonder when this has last been undone. Not for an age. That's a plunger for the choke and priming. Won't push it because it just needs to be sympathetically reworked. Kill switch, okay, and the little oil pump and plunger, freely moving. Just beautiful, isn't it? Goodness knows when these were last taken off. You can just see the older lime yellowy green paint, which was their original colour when they were marketed as the 400. And to the front of the engine, this baby little felling spike. Yeah, and the two correct caps with the iconic Pioneer tree inset into them. What's the oil ratio showing? I wonder if that comes out on the camera. 16:1. Okay, guys. Right, we'll get back to the other ones. This got very dark. We'll get back to the other ones tomorrow. So, thanks for watching. Yeah, so there's 4 C51s to show, which are really interesting saws from 1964. Yeah, in several different states of condition. Really, really interesting. We'll also try to pull out some echoes and the fact there's so many. So we'll get back to those tomorrow. I'm going to put these on tonight, and maybe somebody be tempted by the spectacular NU17. So she's celebrating, if it's not this year or last year, it'll be next year. She's celebrating 60 years, can you believe? Looks absolutely complete as well, just no spark. So, and the spectacular 1964 Pioneer 650. So reliable. And I'll check in the meantime to see whether or not that's, if I can get to it tomorrow, if it needs a spring or if it needs a pulley or both. Okay guys, see you tomorrow. Bye for now.